Welcome to the 2017 Subaru BRZ. And I know what you're thinking. Is this actually a new BRZ? And truth be told, it isn't. It isn't an all-new car. It's the midlife facelift of the car that we all fell in love with a few years ago. So, yeah, what's not to like, really? On the outside, you've got a new nose. You've got a new front grille. It's also slightly lower, slightly wider at the front end. And you've got full LED headlights. That's the first for Subaru. And at the back, you've got a rear wing. And although the old Subaru BRZ had a small rear wing, this is a much more pronounced rear wing. It's also a metal rear wing, so it feels pretty nice. It's not plastic or anything like that. And you've got new rear lights. Inside, it's all very familiar, but just with a few little tweaks. A few months ago, I took the old Subaru BRZ down to Wales for the day, which was amazing, by the way. If you ever get a chance to do something like that, just go and do it. It's pretty good fun. And one of the things on that trip that I really felt this car needed was a sat-nav. And now in this car, the 2017 version, you've got a sat-nav fitted here that's really good to use. It's nice and clear. You've also got another little screen down here inside the instrument cluster, so you can see things like the fuel mileage you're getting, how much range you've got left, and just other little bits like that, and what gear you're in as well. So that's useful. One of the things that actually matters for drivers and that is new to this 2017 model is the traction control system. Yes, the old car had traction control, but there are some different buttons down here that let you play with the settings a bit more. So you can turn the traction control off, you can turn the traction and stability control off, so then you're completely on your own. So if you muck up, yeah, it's on you. There's also a snow button down here, so again, changes the traction control if you're driving in low grip conditions. A sport mode, which just relaxes things slightly, and then a track mode, which should, in theory, make things a bit more entertaining on track without letting it get too far away from you. But the big question that you'll probably be wondering about, and actually a lot of people have been asking about, is does this model have more power? Is it more powerful than the old car? Because that was one of the things that people said when this car was launched was, it's great and it's got skinny tyres, so it's really good fun, and you can slide it around and you're not doing scary speeds, but it does feel a little bit slow. So does this new one have more power? And the honest and simple answer is no, it doesn't. It does not have any more power, any more torque. 200 brake horsepower, 151 foot-pounds of torque, and 0 to 60 takes 7.6 seconds. So it's pretty much exactly the same as the old outgoing model. It's got a slightly stronger engine block and it's got a low friction camshaft and stuff like that. So the engine itself has had a few tweaks, but it hasn't changed the amount of power it's got. Is that a bit of a missed opportunity? Yes, I think it is, because it can still be about, approachable performance with a little bit more power. It doesn't have to be scary fast, but I just feel like a little bit more power would help. Anywhere below 4,000 RPM, you've got to rev it beyond that, because there isn't very much low down torque, so you've got to rev it to get anywhere. But that said, it is still good fun. It is still really good fun. Don't get me wrong, this engine is good, but I can see why some people will still say, you should have had a turbo, should have added a supercharger or something, just to give it that extra bit of excitement and that extra bit of speed. And also, that extra bit of usability, because if you've got a bit more torque low down, it just makes day-to-day driving that little bit easier. Steering, like the old car, it is beautiful. You know exactly what the car is doing at all times. You just feel when you've got grip, when you haven't, and you can guess exactly what's about to happen. It's lovely. It's really, really nice. Brakes, strong. They're not the biggest brakes in the world, and again, they don't need to be, because this car weighs 1,200 kilos and has some quite skinny tyres. But the brakes, they do a good job, and the car stays nice and stable as well when you brake quite hard. Suspension, Subaru have changed the dampers a little bit, so they're slightly firmer, but it feels very, very similar. It still rides very, very flat. So when you pitch it into a corner, you just know what's going to happen. It communicates everything to you beautifully. And now we get to the gearbox. This is the interesting bit for me, because this car is actually the 6-speed automatic. You can get a 6-speed manual, and I will be trying that in a few months' time, which will be good fun, because the manual is a beautiful, beautiful gearbox. It's lovely. But this, the 6-speed automatic, is probably the one that fewer people are going to buy, but it does make sense, because it introduces people who are, perhaps only want an automatic gearbox into this world of fun, not very scary performance cars. So what is this gearbox like? In automatic, it's very smooth, very easy to live with. It doesn't lend itself particularly to sporty driving, because when you brake hard, for example, it's not like it's blipping down for you all the time, but as an automatic, it's just very smooth. It changes the character of the car in a way, because you're not changing gear, you feel less encouraged to start getting up it all the time. But you can also put it into a manual mode, and then it starts to feel more like that BRZ character that you used to get in the old car. When it's in manual, you've got paddles behind the steering wheel, so you can change up and down whenever you want. The changes aren't always very smooth. For the most part they are, but occasionally they're not. And also there is a delay between what you do with a paddle and when the gearbox actually changes gears. One other thing as well is, because you haven't got a clutch, obviously you can't use the clutch in your repertoire of, being able to start to introduce a bit of a slide in the car. So that's something that you have to learn. You have to use the weight more, or just low grip surfaces more. You have to kind of just drive it slightly differently, because you don't have the clutch to start spinning up the wheels. So should you buy a 2017 Subaru BRZ? Why not? That's the only thing I can say. Why not? It's pretty much the same car. The tweaks have given it a bit more life. They've extended its life for a few more years, but underneath, the way it drives is still just as brilliant as it was before. It's fantastic. Limited slip differential, rear wheel drive, simple, small, lightweight sports car. What isn't to like about that?